All right, here we go. After Party 31, the live stream. We're going to talk about sessions 93 and 94. 93 entitled Kraken Dregs, and 94 Sympathy for the Beast.
Yeah.
Once again, straightforward titles.
Thank you. Good. So obviously, well, why aren't there 3 episodes? Why are we only talking about 2? Why is this after party coming so early? What the hell is going on? So our next batch of 3 will be with guest NPC Matthew Jude. So we usually like to keep all of a guest episode self-contained. So we're talking about their entire experience on a single after party, which is why we bumped up this one a little early.
And it made my job easier. I only have to take notes for 2.
There you go.
That's what's important.
That is what's important.
That's right.
Glad it's your job, not mine.
Well, I usually fail at it, so we're okay. 93. We're going to discuss. We started out by discussing. We're discussing if we should let Dreg know about the lair. And once again, I don't know if this came up before on mic, but you guys don't trust Dreg. I don't understand it. Shaft feels Dreg is right on our side, and you guys are all just ready to sacrifice Dreg, right?
The tables have turned a little bit, it seems. I think Shaft's finally starting to rub off on all of us, and
Not in a
It's
good
usually
way.
what shafts do.
Rub too hard.
Oh, jeez.
I didn't mark
we're
the
live,
stream
baby.
as mature, so
Oh, Bill.
Bill,
That's your one job.
it's the after party. What is
That's
going
true.
on?
So speaking of Dreg and Matthew Jude, Dreg was originally supposed to be Matthew's NPC guest spot. So
Exactly.
we did mention previously that we had some scheduling conflicts. So thankfully, and thank you, Matthew, I got to be Dreg, as Dreg has become quickly one of my favorite NPCs to finally be a voice that is trying to get the party's trust, but clearly
that
failing.
might be the fact that he's your favorite might be the biggest red flag to us.
There's no way he'll betray us yet again. I mean, what is it?
We're talking
eighth
about
time?
Leland here. Of course he's going to betray us again.
Screw me once, screw me twice, screw me the 9th time.
John, I think the answer to your question is repeatedly Dreg said, no
Yeah.
one else knows about this but me. Like,
We keep asking him.
yeah, like the books from Alamar's, but like no one else has a ring like this. Not that I know of. I didn't teach it to anyone. Not even Elstoff. Like all this stuff. So we instantly think you're
He made the Kraken thing.
keeping the Kraken in this then. Yeah.
So what's he gonna say? You already asked him, hey, do you know anything about this? No, I don't. Do you know anything about this? No. So what else, who else could have made this? I don't know. After about the 8th or 10th time, he's gonna go. Would you feel more comfortable if he changed his answer?
Well, we could catch him up. If he was lying, we could catch him in the lie. Because if he did change his answer slightly, which, I mean, if he said something other than just no, we could
Yeah.
perhaps catch him in the lie. Of course, that would require any of us remembering what he said previously, so...
Well, Mia's got a +7
That's a
to
problem.
insight, and so I always ask for insight these days, but...
Yeah, thankfully you've started to do that a lot, which is good.
Yeah.
You had a couple yourself in these couple episodes. But I mean, like, so Dreg's really intricate and thought out lie of, I don't know. Yeah, keep questioning him. You'll trip him up in that for sure.
Well, you rolled like a 27 insight, and you're
I know.
like, he's telling the truth, and you're like,
All right, fine, whatever.
No. If he becomes a traitor, then I'll admit I was wrong. That's worth something, right?
At this
He
point, I
does-
don't think he is, but...
his actions, I mean, seem to be painting a trustworthy picture for him.
He's a good guy. Good guy.
Yeah, I mean, if actions speak louder than words, he seems to be doing his best to protect the city. I mean,
Right.
I don't know. It does seem suspicious, though.
Do your characters still feel this way after these 2 episodes?
No.
Like after Dreg almost got grabbed and pulled into this pentagonal structure by the Kraken?
After he
Right.
trusted Falzarin to learn the incantations or whatever. I was like, no, he's on our
That
side.
was
And
key.
he realizes that, like, he might die. So...
Well, he didn't want to open it again. I mean, I know we're skipping ahead here, but he did not want to try to do it again.
Yeah.
All right. So then we have a quick discussion about setting an alarm up before we go back down the hall. And I set one up, but it was a big room, and there really wasn't too many places that we would be able to protect. But
Well, when I originally suggested that, I was actually thinking the doorway to the hallway is where
to
you
the
would set
tunnel,
the alarm.
yeah, the little tunnel.
Like the
Wow.
entrance,
I don't know. Like Mia said, people are lazy, Shaft. They're not going to walk all the way around to get to the barrels.
that's what convinced me. I almost messaged you in Discord and say, I'm going to say I did it, but I'm not going to waste a spell slot.
Well, and
But
I can see where the character John's like gets a spell slot, but I also, after the fact, like listening back, I'm like, why would they want the barrels anyway? They just emptied them into they're not going to unempty it, are they? Like, I don't know, maybe. But you know what I mean? Where I'm like, people are lazy. They're going to need the barrels. Oh, no, they're not going to need the barrels.
They make more barrels.
It's a forking path. Which way do we go?
Fantasy world. There's plenty of barrels.
Barrels everywhere.
So then we head back down the path, and we decide to follow the second forking path that we had passed up previously, and we head down there to find yet another very, 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 very tall ladder. Why people didn't come up with elevators like we had in like episode, I don't know, 7, which we almost died using. I get it. But still, safer than the ladder, I think.
Than a rope ladder hanging against just straight down.
I don't know that it is. Unless you got a halfling trying to scurry up past you. I think then you'll be fine climbing up this ladder.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty dexterous. I thought that wouldn't be a problem at all, and it would add a little bit of excitement.
I didn't.
Which it did.
I didn't remember it was a rope
Almost too
ladder
much.
until I was listening again today. Like, I missed that.
Yeah,
So
I
we
forgot
played
was a
it,
rope
I
ladder,
listened
too.
to it, and then I heard it a third time then, I guess, and realized
I mean, I could have handed the key up to Drake, but I wanted to do it myself.
Yeah, well.
It seemed way too safe. So when we decided to go check out the ladder, we had a quick discussion. Falzern was going to go take a swimmy and find out where the hell we were relative to the city from the cave underneath. And I think we had a little confusion there about how water level works, right? Sea level.
There was a lot of confusion in this episode. Yeah, this episode was a bit of a clusterfuck, actually, because...
I like how you almost decided not to say that.
I did, yeah,
didn't
I did.
label the stream.
I know,
NSFW.
I did.
We're gonna be banned after our very
Yeah.
Man, the ban hammer.
We might as well play like Taylor Swift music and get a DMCA as well.
Well, with the first about 20 or so minutes of this episode, and actually about the last 5 to 10 of the previous episode, we had no audio from Emily. So Emily had to redo a bunch of her lines.
True. Oh my gosh.
Which
That's
I think
harsh.
still turned out very well.
I love Emily's like, I rolled 15. I rolled 14. I rolled 15.
No, if you notice, she rolled 15 3 times in a row.
I was like, Emily, you gotta make up
honest,
numbers better than that.
I did give
She
him
did.
like 4 numbers.
That was on me. She did give me a bunch of different numbers for me to plug in. Because, of course, how could she remember what she rolled?
Oh my God.
I just knew it was good enough to make the check.
Exactly. That's exactly right. But not knowing exactly how high the check was, right? So
Right.
that was completely on me putting 15 in 3
I think
times
it's
in a
fun.
row.
I almost only gave you 15 because I thought that'd be funny.
Leland, I said it before. People are lazy.
I didn't want to walk around the barrels to get to those other numbers. I couldn't do it. So, yeah, the confusion with the water levels, that confusion stemmed from me not giving you, reminding you of the explanation of the actual Kraken cave, as I think most of you pictured it as being like underground, and
Yes.
the water being like a flooded tunnel or something, where actually it's literally the back half of the cave was completely open to the ocean, and standing in the cave, you could see out to the ocean, basically, and like see the storm out there kind of thing. So I did need to reiterate it in that episode. But once we got on the same page here, it was easy for Falsey to swim out there.
Yeah.
There's been 2 times where we've had to go down through the toilet
exactly
thing up the other side. So I think we just assume every cave that has water in it.
It's a cavern, actually, but yeah.
Every cavern, right?
Cavern, yes. Well, I guess technically, though, since it is open, this one's more of just a regular cave. It doesn't got that urn flair.
You're right.
What
That's
gives a
satisfying.
cave the urn flair?
Leaves me wanting a little bit more.
Yeah, the ritual cave was definitely a cave urn because it was under a lake. But this one was just next to an ocean. I mean, what's special about that?
It's
Nothing.
under an island. I mean, come on.
Wait a minute.
That's true.
So you could see directly out?
You could see out to the ocean, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we definitely were picturing
There's
it
still
more of like an
confusion.
Erica's. Yeah. It was like an
'Cause I
Erica's
thought-
layer image in my mind.
Yeah, I thought the ceiling of this cave came down and met the water, and if you wanted to get out of it, you'd have to swim underwater. But you're saying it's open.
Yes, it was
Oh.
open. Yeah.
It was sea level, which is why I was like, he's gonna get crushed by the level of the water.
I thought we were way much farther down than we were, too.
Yes.
Yeah, like we're miles underground.
We're way down compared to where the
Right,
Yeah,
top of
because
the
you're
the
miles
island
under
went
the
way
island,
up.
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
like if Gozer jumped off this cliff,
Oh, she would definitely die. Yeah.
she did.
Definitely.
again.
That
For a
fall
third
damage. Oh, rip.
Okay, so the next thing I have written down here is when we're having a discussion with Drag, and I actually wrote the lines in here because I think it's great. When Drag asked if why did Alamar give you this book, or where did you get the book? And Mia did Alamar give you this book? Mia responds, he did. At the same time, Shakara says, not exactly. 2 completely different things. And then Mia responds very quickly, sorta. We kind of took it.
Yeah.
Which Shaft then respond, he sort of let us borrow it, and we haven't returned it yet.
Yeah.
So if anybody shouldn't trust anybody, Drake should not trust us.
Yeah, why is he trusting us?
Well, Dreg has no other choice. You're Dreg's last resort to save this bloody city. Very
Poor
clearly.
Dreg.
Sounding
Drake
very sketchy.
should betray us just for the sheer fact.
Oh, disagree. Strong disagree on that.
Wow.
Please.
We'll see. We haven't quite landed on this teleport, so we'll see where he takes you.
Oh, man.
Okay, so we have a short interrogation of Drag and the tank and the ring, which we sort of already talked about a little bit, but we do decide that we want to try to open the tank to extract some of this rainbow water to get for Falzarin.
Worst plan ever.
But we didn't really think it through and realize that there was a whole bunch of black goop dumped in
Yeah.
there too.
Listening back, I was definitely like, there's resuscitant in that.
I was kind of hoping we could take it to Campbell or somebody and have it be separated.
Right.
You could suck the
Yeah.
blood out of it, vampire
Yeah.
style.
Yeah, something like that.
Black stuff is basically blood. We've discovered this.
That is true.
I think Falsey was thinking the same. He was hoping, it could be studied by someone like Campbell and we could perhaps glean some information from a sample. But as we see, what ends up happening is Dreg just gets blasted in the face by a huge stream of it.
I didn't realize it was going to be like a 5-foot diameter hole that opened up, which is like, if you ever been hit by a fire hose.
Yeah, he basically gets
probably
fire
kill you.
hosed.
Yeah, they did
Yeah, with a
blast out like it was under pressure, yeah. He's
Yeah,
like a
anything-
dam opening up.
You know what? He
Dead
would have
on
been
you?
better off if it blasted him away from the thing, too, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
He should have failed that save.
Yeah.
Although then he wouldn't have got the ring back. Or been able to close the hole, maybe. Would he have been? Too far away.
He probably would have been, but it might have been open a little longer than it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, that's a room full of dead bodies. And, yeah, there's some resuscitant mixed in with all that stuff. When you all were talking
Oof,
about
the
opening that
Hydra.
a second time, I was like, oh, boy.
I know, it's such a bad idea. At the time,
completely drain it. Oh, that would have been...
At the time, it seemed like a good idea, but listening back, I'm like...
So much does,
What are you thinking, dude?
What's a Kraken going to do in a tank that doesn't have any stuff in it?
Well, it might...
He'll shrivel up and die, right?
Exactly. I assume that its skin needs to stay well hydrated.
Absolutely.
And like the passage that Leland read to us, he sent to us on Discord. And so that's how I had so much of it memorized.
Well, that wasn't Mia's perfect recall then.
Yeah, no, it was not.
Okay.
I do not have the highest intelligence out there. I think that's Bill or Falzarin. But as I read that, I was thinking, it makes sense. Like, drain it and it can't...
Yeah.
Like, same thing with if we would have actually killed Danzig back in the day. Like, come on.
Nah. Let's not get into things like that.
Like how Shakara wanted to kill Danzig and
still
Shaft
save
stopped
Danzig.
her, and no.
So much that we could have done.
No. Yeah.
You don't think Alamar or Erica or Isabel, they have backup plans?
Yeah, exactly.
They know.
They got plans
they know.
on plans.
They have things.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They got plans on plans on plans.
I don't know. Charles doesn't seem all that
Oh, right,
sharp-witted.
Charles.
Let's be honest.
General
I thought
Joe.
that was so funny. They're like, oh, you mean Charles?
Well. So yeah, we did drain the tank out. I think you said about a third of the liquid came
quite a
out,
bit.
right? So, and then we talk about it a little bit and decide that we're not going to reopen it again. And we decide to go back to the ladder with Dreg to see, since he has the key or the ring, we can open up and see where that goes. So we head up the ladder, the very, very, very tall ladder. And I think it was Dreg, then Mia, then Shaft. Mm-hmm. And then we get to a trap door after we go through. Now, I was wondering, if once we go through the dome, if we were to have fell, would we have hit the dome and stopped, or would we have fell all the way down? Probably hit the dome, right?
Yeah, because I think Dreg closed it behind you.
Yeah. So we wouldn't have had to take the full falling damage.
Yeah,
right.
That's true. It
Right.
would have been maybe 8 to 10 D6 or something. How?
Yeah, I think you said 30 feet more. I think is what you said.
Oh, I think I said more than that.
No. I think it was 30 feet. You go. Well, it doesn't matter because everything worked out just dandy.
Because Mia caught Dreg, so.
Yeah. But we
Yeah,
did
she
get
did.
up there, open that trapdoor, which led into a hidden passageway in the fireplace of what we all assume is
What Shaft
Geneva's
assumed.
room. And I believe Shaft and Falzarin had been in Geneva's room prior.
Falzarin didn't go. He was swimming.
Actually, I don't think you made it into Geneva's living quarters specifically.
No. Although I think it's reasonable to assume that Falsey would have been in Geneva's room, before he became part of this party, right?
Take it off.
Ow,
Yeah.
ow!
Tell us more about your
Geneva
prior
Is very hot, as
Geneva
Bill has said.
experiences.
I totally wasn't insinuating that, but I mean, if we want to go down
Sure.
that path.
Bill has
'cause
decided
you and Geneva
Geneva
go
is
back, right?
drop dead gorgeous.
Even if that was the case, Falzer wasn't there, so.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
don't think Mia had ever been in Geneva's quarters, so.
So Shaft hadn't been in there before in Geneva's
I
quarters?
don't think so.
Apparently
No,
not.
I think the two of them went into her office and then found nothing in her office, and then I think something else happened, and you didn't get quite to fully investigate her living quarters like some of the other elders.
Yeah.
You for
I
sure
think
went
you're
in.
right.
Shaft for sure went in and went through Sybil's living quarters, and I think maybe Gundar's.
You know what? Mia was there when Shakara was handed a sending scroll from Geneva.
In her office, yeah, in Geneva's office.
So then Mia would have known it was Geneva's office. if
you
it
didn't
indeed
come
was.
out in her office. You came up in her living quarters, which is if the second story above their offices.
Oh.
Which he just therefore verified that it was Geneva's room.
It is
Yeah,
Geneva's room. Yes, it is
baby!
Geneva's. I mean, you had Geneva's
The
key.
truth comes out.
Geneva's key unlocked the trap door. It wasn't
We have to.
much
likely,
of a
but-
leap.
Yeah, Geneva's not looking good. I mean,
Well,
we've
no,
already
she's had her
confirmed
head
it.
smashed. She's not looking good at all.
Assume for a moment. Let's
Let's
assume for a moment it wasn't Geneva's room. It doesn't really matter which one. They're all dead.
Yeah,
That
that's
is true.
The only thing that would have
Except for Alamar.
mattered
Isabella.
if it was Alamar's. And Alamar's, though, living quarters are distinctly different than the other four elders. As his office and his living quarters are much larger, for one thing. And Shaft had been and went through Alamar's living quarters.
What would have been really cool is if we would have came up in Alamar's library, because that would have pissed everybody off. We looked everywhere.
Yeah, I used that one. There's secrets all over the place.
There was a trap door just
Detect
right over there
magic
with
was
a
used many times
tiny little
by
rug.
Mia.
A throw rug.
That was last after party where it's like, we just had the epic battle of our lives, but I've got a quick hour or 10 minutes to cast a ritual and see if there's any more magic down here. Let's read some books. Oh, man.
Okay, so we head back down, and then we go to cut over to Falzarin doing his swimming, and he goes invisible, which was a wise idea.
Just keep swimming.
And then he avoided some sharks, saw a shell sub, and then verified where we are relative to the island, so he can tell his buddies.
His friends, who everybody refers to as his friends, except Mia. Mia just
What do I
flat out
refer to
says Tritons. Let's go tell the Tritons. No, we're
I
trying
never
to keep
realized
it a
that.
secret who his friends are, but we're going to go tell the Tritons.
Dude, I
Yeah.
literally
Oops.
have not even noticed that that's what I say. But thanks for pointing it out.
I don't know that you've said that in front of Dreg yet, though.
I think she did. She said it in front of somebody.
She might. Okay.
And you know what? Mia trusts Dreg now. So
There you go. Dreg's very.
Because you're a
got
root
that.
vegetable.
that 27 insight, that gut instinct, she is trusting Dreg.
Well, Falzarin didn't mention the sharks to the party. He mentioned the shell sub though. But had he said something about the school of sharks, I think I called them a gang or something. I don't know what I called them.
Is that the official
Yeah,
title?
that's the gang of sharks. Like Mia and Shakara would have read as part of like effects of a kraken's lair. Like a kraken can control
Ooh.
like aquatic life with like an intelligence of 2 or lower in this in a specific area kind of thing.
Oh my gosh, we do not need to fight this thing anytime soon. Holy crap.
So yeah, going invisible was smart there, Falsey.
Oh. Now, can you answer for us, was one of the sharks bitey?
No.
Obviously not. As much as I wish Bitey were still around.
Maybe a
He's
very
gone.
distant ancestor, maybe.
Yeah.
From Bitey's
Relative.
parts. Things
From
parts.
Bitey's
that were
parts.
made-
Yeah.
Cousin twice removed.
So the invisibility was smart for the sharks, but was it so smart for the sub? Jessica asks, "Where is
Ooh.
Captain Grimby? And when will you
True.
all finally bother to give him a call?" I mean,
Yeah.
whose sub was that? Was it another attack sub of the cultists? Was it Grimby kicking around?
All I know is when we finally meet Grimby, we're putting a big
Rising 3.
some kind of a mark on that ship, so
need-
we know.
We need to mark it somehow.
Which crab
Yeah.
sub is a Grimby crab sub if a Grimby crab sub...
Well, that's the thing
I
is
almost
that
did it. Almost.
I almost
Well,
had it.
That's not the thing, because they're not crab subs. They're
Oh,
shell
Yes.
subs.
Greg. Shell.
Yeah, try that. Try shell
Well,
sub.
shell ships. Just go with shell
So-
ships.
Okay,
Shell ships
she
down by the
shells
seashore.
by the seashore.
Well,
the shells that
hold
she
on a
shells are
minute.
she shells, I'm sure.
That is
If
exactly.
she shells, how many shells does she shell? The she shells, I'm sure.
That's the next thing I was going to say. Session 94 starts with seed-shaped shell ship.
that's the
That's the
worst.
first thing Leland says.
coming
a
up with this?
seed-shaped
We're-
shell ship.
For a podcast.
The very, very first one you all encountered when the Rising 2 got blown to bits, I first described it as looking in this very oval kind of seed-like, just picture the sunflower seed
Yeah.
zipping
like a
around the water. Very,
Clam, personally.
very aerodynamic, whatever the water version of that is.
Water
Water
dynamic.
dynamic.
a torpedo.
Aquatodynamic. Very
Hydrodynamic.
aquatodynamic. Hydrodynamic.
Well,
That actually might
us
be the word.
astronauts.
John, you're an
us astronauts
astronaut.
do
What-
say we do all say seed-shaped. Seed shaped. It's tough. I mean,
Can't even say it.
If a shell ship is she-shaped by the seashore.
we charge by the hour, so if we have to say it a few times, it's all right.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's big brain thinking right there.
Oh, man.
So that was the only other thing I wanted to say is when we were talking to Dreg about Falzarin learning how to use the ring, we all not very clear. We all danced around the fact that Falzarin should learn this in case you die.
Yeah.
Right? But
No,
nobody said it directly.
Except Falzarin.
Falzarin
Mia
almost
got
did.
pretty close. Yeah. Mia and Falzarin got pretty
You
close.
know what kind of got cut out of that was like when Dreg was like, well, I can teach Falzarin in Bill's face, because it's audio in Bill's face when he's like, wait, I don't want to have to open that thing either.
Yeah.
It's sort of Dreg's lifeline, really.
I suppose, yeah.
I mean, you take that ring away from him and...
What can he do
What's
except,
his use?
burn a
He can
7th level
teleport
spell
us.
slot to teleport the lot of you exactly where you need to go. Otherwise, he's fucking useless.
once he burns that spell slot, he needs a long
Well,
rest.
that's true.
Fuck him.
Falzarin should ask if he can learn to teleport.
I
Oh,
wish it
man.
worked that way.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But that does take us right to 94, right?
Yeah, so we started, 94. I think that's where we started discussing draining the pool, actually, for the second time. And so we have, at that point, Shaft and Shakara go investigate some noises we hear down the pathway. We use Pass Without a Trace, sort of sneaky up, and see these two Kraken priests.
Which we decide, you said we should keep one alive because they maybe have some information.
Well, they were talking about Erica, right? They were saying stuff like, where are these guys at? I think his name was Joseph that he kept on talking about. Where's
Quite
Joseph?
upset
Joseph
with
should be
him.
back.
I'd rather we not talk about their names because it seems less traumatic.
Too real.
Just makes it more personal.
When Shaft said that, Shakara sounded very disinterested. She's like, yeah, all right, I'll try.
Things get really dark.
Let's
in this
maybe
episode.
not kill all of them.
No
No
promises.
promises. Yeah.
That's not the way we do things.
Yeah, when have we never not killed something since I joined up with you guys?
Poor Bill Ben's going to have a whole bunch of stuff he's going to have to figure out here before
That's
too
true.
long.
That's true.
That's true.
He's tracking it. Shakara's numbers are going to really spike here. So we kill the first one, and the second one runs. I think there was a moment there where Shaft was in the way. Shakara couldn't get around him, I believe. And then as soon as I moved out of the way, then, of course, Leland makes him run, and I think that might have been where I said my bad word.
Yes, I think that was
probably
where the
was.
F-bomb dropped, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that.
But she does pull out a scroll of Hold Person.
Ooh.
And
Yeah.
After much discussion that got cut out of the episode on what the hell we were going to do.
oh, really? I
Yeah.
don't remember.
Right.
It did, yeah. Because, there was John was like, well, I don't want to tell you what to do, but you should do this. And then Mia was like, well, I think you should take out your scroll and use that, but I don't want to metagame. And John was like, yeah, but then, just tell her what to do. So I was like,
I think as Mia, I ended up being like, well, you guys have been doing this longer than me, so your decision.
you know what? Mia was very neutral party here. She's like, you know what? If you got to kill him, you got to do what you got to do. But
it's not going to be me. Yeah.
It's not on me, right?
I'm going to wash my hands of this.
I don't know if it works that way.
Is that how it works in the law? Somebody's going to kill somebody and you go, what?
I don't think
Go
that
ahead,
Mia
but-
is necessarily lawful good, right? But she's just saying hey, if you really believe, go ahead. And I think this is, again, where we talk about how we've grown as characters. You can grow down.
Like a root vegetable.
Grow
Like
down.
a root vegetable.
You're a carrot, I'm a potato.
I'm just not gonna kill. That's why when you first met Mia, she grappled the guy, tied him up. She's not gonna.
True. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
absolutely right. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but also when you first met Shakira, what the fuck's my name?
Oh,
Shakara.
God.
Yes.
I'm glad
did
this is
it.
being live streamed right now. So.
When you first met Shakara, I never would have done what I did either.
Yeah,
No.
so I'm just saying, like, 4 days later, she's like, well, if you gotta do it, you gotta do it. Like,
Right.
growing down.
I have a good excuse, though. I'm being corrupted. What's your excuse?
Oh, your excuse is I submitted to a higher power that is corrupting my soul? That's not
Yes.
a good
Oh.
excuse.
No.
That's a damn good
I had a
excuse.
nickel for every time I heard that excuse. When somebody did something.
Yeah, balls are in.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't know that I'm being corrupted, but I realize how Shaft operates.
Yeah.
And I realize how in the middle of so much crap we are. Like, what am I to do?
Right, so is Mia kind of she's seeing the gray of Aspara.
There's Gray, because, like, if we don't kill him...
Yeah, we couldn't let him go.
Yeah, no, we couldn't.
Yeah, that's
No,
the
hell
trouble,
no,
right?
you couldn't. Hell no, you didn't.
You can't let that guy run away, but
Yeah, I think Shaft was trying to figure out a way. He wanted to have a discussion to figure out a way, saying, we know what this guy's going to do. He's going to run right to Erica. So why don't we
yeah.
give him some false information that's going to benefit us? But before I could do that, somebody stabbed him and killed him.
But he already had the information that we knew about the Kraken,
Yeah.
and that information alone was very bad for Erica to know that we had.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And
Well, I wrote
Charles-
down here, let me go, and then execution by Sakara. That was my notes. So it was very clearly, and I would think Mia and Falzarin and Shaft would
man.
probably be thinking twice about what to think about Shakara when this, even though he probably had to die, you didn't give us a chance to even talk to him. Almost like you were shutting him up.
No, you talked to him for a long time, and he just kept saying, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. He had no more information for us.
Leland, it was an interesting choice on your part to be like, well, you can give non-lethal damage, but, like... And then she's like, sword, boom. And you were like, yep, done.
Well, there's no point in rolling it out, right? She
Yeah,
was going to stab him again.
There isn't, and that's what it would be like in real life, where Mia turns around like, hey, so... Oh, okay.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. That's kind of one of those weird
Okay,
things.
that's
like,
how that is.
That's like plays into one of those the conversation about like what are hit points, right? Like if you
Yeah.
want to coup de grace someone, you should be able to. They're bound
Right.
and not gagged because you think he might have something to tell you, but all intents and purposes he's gagged because he's run out of what he has to tell you. So dead.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, how many days have we been on Heraklion? Like 4?
Yeah,
Maybe?
4-ish. Yeah.
So
only been 4.
4 days ago, we were determined, Shakara, Mia and Shakara both, were determined to turn that hostage into the guards.
Yes.
That's so true.
We
After
did.
discussing our whole plans in front of him.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, we did.
We've learned a lot in 4 days, you guys.
We
Yeah.
drew
Like-
down.
It's a lot of character growth.
Life has given
Couple
us
levels.
lemons. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, in those
Leveled
4
up.
days,
Big
we've
long
had
days.
shit stir Keck come in. We have Shakara fire breathing wizards all over the place. We got Falzarin, on his deathbed, on his way to his deathbed, slowly being sapped.
We bashed in Geneva's head. I mean,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
It's been a hell of a
Lots of
4 days.
tattoos have been had.
Yeah.
It's been
It's been a very intense 4
some
days.
737s. Yeah. Or is it 37? What is it?
377.
377, yeah.
That's right.
There we go. 737's a plane. Gosh. All right.
I think that's a 747.
There's a 737 as well. Come on.
Okay.
Right?
I would know.
Right,
Fair
John?
enough.
I wouldn't know I'm an astronaut.
I'm not a pilot.
You have nothing to do with airplane parts whatsoever. Okay. So where else are we in the summary?
So then the next thing we did was we talked about what our next step would be.
Well, no,
And
I like, Bill was like, let's not call it an execution. And everybody was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it's an execution.
Yeah, I was like,
It
yeah.
was an execution.
It's just misunderstood.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, it's a big difference between somebody coming at you and you kill them to somebody who's
I slipped.
shackled and we kill him.
I tripped.
I mean, I would have felt better if you would have unshackled him and then you would have stabbed him. At least it would have felt better.
Slightly less execution-y. Yeah.
Yeah.
Falzarin, I think, was a little bit taken aback by that from Shakara. Bill was taken aback by that. I did not see that coming.
You know, it just occurs to me a very terrible, terrible plan that you could have done with him. He was shackled. You could have let him go shackled, running to Erica.
Oh.
And then,
and then
Shaft could
teleported.
have been scrying on him, to watch him, see how far he goes after a bit of time. As soon as he leaves Erica or is with Erica, because he's going to report to Erica. Boom. Shaft and Mia teleport in.
Boom. Yeah.
But teleport in
Coup de grace,
to a big group of people, and then they would have been slaughtered in 2 seconds.
Would you let us kill Erica just like that? No questions asked.
It would have been so heroic. Mia would have loved it. Shaft would have ran. It would have been.
If Erica was like sleeping or something, maybe I would let you.
Slit her throat in the mouth.
What are the odds
but
that
why
she's
would
going to be
he
sleeping?
Is he sleeping with Erica? Like, why would he be with Erica sleeping?
That cultist, yeah. He's got a skin peeling fetish.
What are you saying? He's got a thing for women with one arm.
Let me Google that. I don't know if that's real or not.
She's got one real good arm.
Yeah, wait a minute. Isn't it, what's her name?
Oh, gross.
It's not Erica that's got the skin all peeling. It's, frig, what is her name? Isabella.
You forgot Isabella?
Yeah,
they're related.
I guess they're related.
The cultist made mention that Erica would be pissed enough to skin them alive.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Of which the lot of you said, you know what? We're going to do the same fucking thing. Tell us.
Yeah. And then Falsey tried to intimidate him.
Yeah, I thought it was funny just to let Falzarin do the role, even though everyone was intimidating. I really should have given Falzarin an advantage on it, but...
Oh, yeah.
Because Shakara was getting scary.
Yeah, that's funny. You had Falzarin roll, and and then he looks at Shakar, and he's like, okay, I can tell you everything you want.
Yeah, there's smoke coming out of her mouth.
Yeah, we all kind of got nasty in this, like far nastier than we've ever been, I think, in this episode.
Yeah, well, what did Jacqueline and Chilkus think? They're sitting there watching.
Yeah,
I
had that written down too. Where once again, two people standing there that say nothing. We just forget they're there. We're talking about Danzig and...
Once again, Dreg was very sympathetic, though, to the actions in which the four of you need to take.
Yeah, I'm getting more concerned about Dreg the more we talk about this.
C'est la vie. We are way past this, folks. There is no turning back.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, cards have been played.
Oh,
so,
man.
we did decide the next thing we were going to do was try to go find Danzig because when we read in the book, I think it was the Matron's Vessel, we all sort of put 2 and 2 together like we've done in the past many times, and we said, okay, this is probably Danzig. But we did know that there was probably a good possibility that he was not where I had left him.
Yeah.
We are hoping.
Well, we were hoping he was there for sure. Hopefully
Can I ask
he will
you a
be.
question, Leland? Why does subaqueous dust stink so bad? Is that the stinky substance? Why does it
That's
smell
the
like...
fish smell.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
dust,
It's
yeah?
part of what smells. Yeah, it smells.
It must be that dust, because it's like, it didn't say to add fish flakes or something, like...
No, it didn't say. The recipe did not call for fish flakes. No.
I don't understand. I've never understood this ever since I was little and had goldfish. Why are we feeding fish food that smells like freaking fish? Are we feeding fish to the fish? Probably, I guess. It's gross.
Everything smells like fish down with the fish, right? So food would smell
Probably,
like fish
yeah.
too. Yeah, everything smells like fish.
Seems logical enough.
Fish food
I
is disgusting.
I don't think they smell the same way that we smell either.
Probably not.
Like, I don't think they go, delicious.
Smells like me.
Smells like water.
Can you smell underwater? That is another question. Life's questions.
Well, I know that if you're being tracked after escaping from prison by prison guards and dogs, it's good to go through a river to lose your scent.
Is that what you did?
We don't talk about that, John.
Is that just Skyrim terminology, or are we talking...
No, this is...
You know what, actually, they've been starting to implement up here in Canada, the good old Great White North, is actually tracking fish. Just for that exact scenario.
They're converting salmon
You say so
farms
many
to-
words weird, Leland.
But the problem is, of course, like John said, the fish can only smell fish. So unless you smell like fish, they're just going to smell themselves and want to eat themselves.
Right.
It's a problem. The R&D still needs to be developed. We're putting so much of our budget, our country's budget, into it. It's kind of ridiculous.
And all fish are cannibalistic. That's why they're so rare now.
That's why they're dying out.
The fish are eating fish food that smell like fish.
That's why the salmon spawning numbers are down and just continuing to plummet. They're just eating each other. It's got nothing to do with our interferences. The human
The
race.
more you know. Thanks. Hope everybody.
The more you know. Okay. All right, so this is the crap Leland usually cuts out.
You're getting it live, folks.
It kind of
So
was
we're
my
almost
fault.
done here. We're almost done. So Dreg,
It was my fault because I was picturing someone feeding him this subaqueous dust, like fish food, just like sprinkling it.
I think they put it in it said return to the water, I think.
And
is what
shake it
said.
all about.
And then you
Do
put
the
it,
snow boom pokey and you
it's like you're
turn it
making
around.
lemonade or something. You put the water in. You
Exactly.
Shake
Give
it up
her
a
the
little
shake.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically Kool-Aid.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's that matron's vessel Kool-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Mmm.
So then eventually Dreg suggests that he could teleport all of us down to the docks.
Mm-hmm.
And Chilkus and Jacqueline would return up to the city because they didn't want to stay there. As we asked them, we said, you probably don't want to stay here. And I believe it was Chilkus, or maybe it was Jacqueline that said,
I'm not staying here.
I'm not
It's
staying
like, that
here.
was not the plan. That was never the plan.
No dirt.
And they're going to go up and write us a scroll of sending, which seems to be the hot commodity here in
We need
Heraclea.
like
Damn,
10 of them.
The thing I kept
I mean-
trying to explain to you guys was like, by the time they write the scroll of sending, scroll of spending would be nice too.
It's called a credit card.
I mean, 8 hours, all that gold or whatever they're willing to spend to give us one scroll of sending. Like, how do we go back up there and get like?
Yeah, we'll
it's
be down at the
just
docks. We're not going to be able to get it.
ridiculous
Yeah.
plan, and that's where Shaft comes in because Shaft is good at being like, yeah, later, like, and we're
Right.
just okay. Like, this is a terrible
Yeah.
plan.
This is a great way to get. We don't have to do the invisible thing, the whole walking thing. We just teleport right there.
We gotta do
Which,
nothing.
that means Dreg's pretty powerful dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was another question from Jess. She asked just what level is Dragon. I'm using loosely stats in Volo's Guide to Monsters for the Abjurer. So he's, his thing is like protecting. So he's considered to be a 13th level spellcaster.
That's
Nice.
pretty
Dang.
intense, man.
Good guy to have on our side, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good, trustworthy guy to have on our
We
side.
need to not let him die. Or, I
There you
mean,
go.
if he turns out to be bad, then
Let's just
End
preemptively
him
kill him just in
immediately,
case.
yes.
probably safest because
Yes.
if he's a deep scion.
Maybe you can't tell us this, but is a 13th level spellcaster higher spellcaster level than Erica or Isabella?
Yes, Leland, tell us.
He might not say anything. It's
Yeah,
worth asking,
You have no way of knowing that.
but you could tell us.
I could. Yeah. I could tell you a lot
What's
of things.
Erica's
believe me.
highest level spell?
Yeah, what are we working with?
It's not metagaming.
Oh.
No, not at all. Well, we kind of glossed over there.
Yeah, you
Kind
skipped
of-
the whole part.
Yeah, we had some interaction between the Kraken and Shakara and Falsey a little bit.
Yes.
It did
Yes.
speak to both of them telepathically.
Yeah, unfortunately, we had no idea what it said, and it didn't get the whole knock once for yes, twice for no thing.
It wasn't
Now
picking up
they're-
with your laying down.
Another damn language that we just don't.
I
understand.
think you two are going to connect, and we're going to see Shakara riding a kraken
Oh, okay.
before this is all over.
That's quite the
'Cause-
visual there.
Thanks.
Glad we're streaming this.
I really wish one of us had have made a roll to see if we could recognize them, even though we can't understand it. Perhaps recognize the language, because that would be
Well, I
interesting.
did.
To know
I
what
tried
it's speaking.
to repeat what it said in case anybody else recognized it, but I wasn't. I rolled too low and wasn't able to say it correctly, so nobody. Like, it's even worse understanding of what I said versus what
Right.
the Kraken said.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is an interesting point though. Like I think about that too sometimes. Like I don't know if I heard a language that I was unfamiliar with, if I would be able to tell what language
Dude,
it was.
Yeah, no, I
hola,
don't think
¿cómo
so.
estás? What language is that, man?
Right,
Come on.
but I'm familiar with Spanish and French.
Yeah.
If I wanted to, if someone was speaking Dutch to me versus Danish, shout out
Right.
to some of our international
What up,
listeners, I would
kids?
not be able to tell the difference.
Yeah. I could,
totally
but
would. I
that's
think
German.
I would.
I have
but
experience
yeah.
with Dutch, and I have zero experience with Danish, so I'd probably. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
I
Sure.
love Danishes. Oh,
That's like English and Canadian.
cheese Danish.
Can't-
Right?
So good.
Indiscernible. Yeah. Indistinguishable. You just can't tell.
Uh,
Well, you know what there, Bill? If you think you want to call for a check like that, then just feel free to ask for it and I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I just didn't think of it at the time. I was just saying it. Listening back, I was like, oh, dang, I should have made a check to see if I at least recognized the language, and then that's just another little tidbit of information that we would know. But
Yeah, so if you don't speak it, I don't think that you'd recognize it.
no.
I mean, I think
Okay.
I think you're better off just making it as simple as that,
Yeah,
as opposed to trying to flab it around kind of thing.
that's fair.
Like,
I see what you're saying.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I say the Kraken was speaking in Sylvan. I don't think any of you have heard Sylvan being spoken. So how could you possibly recognize it as being Sylvan? So
Right,
maybe
that
it's
makes sense.
speaking in some type of language that neither of your characters would have heard before, really. So
Yeah.
incredibly difficult to
Was-
try to ascertain what it.
Was
it
the
could be.
chanting in Sylvan in the cavern with like Danzig and all that?
That's a good
Maybe.
point, actually. I think, yeah, it was. It wasn't Sylvan. Yeah, that's
And
correct.
were they aware of it? If they were there. I was not, as Mia, but
well, we still didn't know what it was then. So
now we
still
know
don't
because we have
what
the
it
book,
is.
knowing that it's Sylvan.
Yeah, we
And
could
so
have recognized it maybe. As
I'm
being
just
the same
saying we've
language.
heard Sylvan. That's all. Not Mia, but you guys have.
But what John is saying is it's never been explicitly told to the characters that were there that they heard Sylvan. Yeah, you've seen
Right.
it written, but reading a language and hearing a language, two very different things.
Right. We can barely read English.
Okay.
Some people can't. Some people can't read or write French, but they can speak it fluently, right? Like,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
and understand it being heard it too, right?
That's true.
But feel free to ask for checks like that, though. Absolutely.
Jessica asks if in any of our studies that Shikara and Mia did on the Krakens, did it say what language they speak? Because we read those books.
Oh
online.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a good point. It would. Yeah, you would have learned that like it could speak abyssal, primordial, celestial, and
Oof, Celestial. Let's go.
I think there is one other one that's pretty common. There's like 4 pretty common ones.
Abyssal and Primordial is what Falzarin speaks, so it's not those two.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's got to be
I
Celestial.
clarified
and
that. Yeah.
So it's got to be Celestial. Freaking Mia should have looked at the aquarium.
Maybe if Shikara had been able to recite what she heard a little better.
Oh,
Falsey,
shit.
Falsey didn't even try. I probably should have tried as well.
Falzarin, useless.
I mean, I can cast polymorph, so there's that.
Man, we need listeners to be like chiming in while we play IRL so that we're like, oh yeah, remember this?
To remind me to do things.
Yeah.
Ian would be all over that. Falzarin would
Sweet to have, like, a
would go
real
from
chat.
0 to hero in no time.
There you go. Be like, don't forget, you guys have read all those books about Krakens. Oh yeah, Leon. So what? Oh, Leon.
If you polymorph into a creature, would you understand the other creature then? If you polymorph into a bear,
Ooh.
can you talk to other bears?
Well, bears don't have languages.
What about if you polymorph into a
they
Triton?
have instinct.
I mean, not a
Well,
Triton,
I was
a
going to say a
Kraken.
kraken. We open it up, we pop you in there, turn you into a.
I think you
kraken.
can only polymorph into beasts, so you can't polymorph
Time
into a
out.
kraken.
What's a
You
Kraken?
can't?
Foiled again.
Wasn't it called Beast in your freaking title of the
I think polymorph is
episode?
just for beasts. So yeah.
What's a Kraken labeled as?
Oh, I think a kraken is an aberration, I believe.
What?
Gotcha.
Same with a hydra, actually. So actually, was it Laugh After Party? We're talking about taking parts
Then
for
why
tattoos?
did you title it Sympathy for
Yes.
the Beast?
Because
It
that's
should be Sympathy for
because
the Aberration.
literally one of your characters said that in the episode. And it was a play on sympathy for the devil.
Right.
You're whatever.
Who said that? Did I say that?
Shakara didn't say anything.
I think it was Mia. She's like, why are we showing any sympathy for this beast or something like that?
Oh. So she didn't even know what she was talking about.
Obviously not.
I called it a beast. We should be able to transform into a beast. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, you don't even know what it's referencing.
You can that doesn't make any fucking sense. That's the dumbest thing you've ever said, Elena. You can't just call something whatever you want it to be.
Setting a dangerous precedent.
Hey, Dreg's going to start calling shots all over the place, and you'll see what happens.
Petition to allow Falsey to polymorph into a kraken.
I've got no idea who typed that in chat.
Well, so explain to me what kind of going through Shakara's mind. I mean, you kind of explain yourself in character a little bit in the episode, but like you kind of were feeling sympathy for this non-beast.
Yes, because he's a very intelligent creature, and it's not just a water elemental. It's not just a Hydra that's just there to kill. Which, I mean, from the books, the Kraken pretty much is just there to kill and dominate.
Isn't it, though?
Yes.
Yeah.
But we hadn't seen it do that.
Sure, those books did also tell you how intelligent that a full-formed Kraken is. Yeah, and you see that's very quickly learning. It is starting to
it
gain
proved it wasn't
intelligence.
just a beast. It
Absolutely.
proved that it is a higher power, higher functioning creature. And maybe deserves to live, other than the fact that it would probably enslave and kill us all. You know, I mean, there's downsides to everything.
Apparently not its followers, though.
I think
According
that's a load
to
of BS.
one guy.
I think that's a big load of BS. That's the Kool-Aid that everybody's drinking.
That's the big
think
bad
so, eh?
Kool-Aid,
You think
yeah.
so? Well, I mean, kind of also what you learned from him is that, like, they all might not like Erica all that much, but it's still all in service to Kralakina.
Right. I wonder if we could turn him against Erica.
Kralakina. Yeah, like, it's intelligent enough to probably turn or Do you think it's intelligent enough to recognize evil? It is evil.
It is evil.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be evil. Yeah, everything you've read.
Everything we read says it's evil. So, but if we
I
could
don't
get the
feel
Kraken,
like Mia's ever gonna change her mind.
But if you raise a little like lion from a cub, you can raise it to not
but, like,
maul your
Mia
face off.
Has
Right?
read. Okay, we've all watched Tiger King. Like, come on.
I didn't watch it.
You. Okay, all right.
Well, also, you've read all that about a Kraken. You haven't read that about Kralakina.
Kralakina is just an evil situation.
That's the thing we are assuming the thing in the crystal is not Kralakina yet.
Yeah, you don't think it is yet Kralakina?
Yet, yeah.
I feel like Mia, knowing Thor banished it, like, feels this absolute tie and, like, necessity, obligation to banish it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
No matter what.
You were very vocal about wanting to try to, too.
It is her calling at this point. Like, she was adventuring for a year on her own and following something that maybe hasn't been what's happening lately, but, you know, anyway, it's led her to more information about family, Thor, all this stuff. She's gonna banish this thing.
Yeah.
You're gonna get to kill Erica, but I'm gonna banish the Kraken.
It's happening, Leland.
I absolutely love it. I'm glad you are as drawn in. I'm glad your character is as drawn in as she seems to be.
You're glad we're delusional.
There is a trending hashtag now in chat. Give Emily a Kraken.
Oh no!
Yes!
Oh, this is what happens recording live.
Well, you know what
gosh.
I find interesting about that from Mia's perspective is, like, Mia's seen how ineffective a lot of her godly powers are against it, but now has this second avenue to try to go down, and, like, this plan B almost, right? Like, the plan, Mia plans, she's got the plan kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
She has studied and leveled up and got the right spell prepared. She's ready.
Absolutely.
She has 2 chances to banish this thing.
I love it. So now let it out of that structure and fight it.
That's the only way you're going to be able to banish
Yeah,
it.
can't we just banish it through a little hole?
No, we talked about that.
Yeah, that's what she wanted to do.
That's
Swim
what
in that
I want to do
rainbow
as well.
Taste the rainbow.
Banish the rainbow.
You can jump in there with it. I mean, if you truly want to be a hero, you jump in there with it.
Yeah, you'd
Banish
open
it.
that up again, and the four of you would hop right in there, swim right in there.
We'd be
You'd be sitting by Thor's right hand if you were the one that
Yeah.
sent that back.
Ooh, that would impress him, I bet.
Yeah.
I don't need no Thor. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, I think you do,
I am the hammer.
mechanically speaking.
I was just describing Mia to Bill's cousin today because he plays D&D, and I was like, Mia is amazing. I love Mia. I'm so glad that I made her.
I'm so glad Bryn died. I mean,
So
I was
That's what I was
thinking.
You know what, though? I'm not
Oh.
glad Bryn died, but it was a hard experience to lose your first
Yeah.
character. We've talked about it before, but anyway.
I'm not prepared
Like,
to lose Falsey.
first time always hurts the most, right?
I was describing the hammer because we have talked about it before, but I was not using my hammer to its full ability. So,
Yes,
That's
we
what
did
we all say.
increase. You should always be throwing that hammer. That hammer
I
was
basically-
designed to be thrown.
That hammer's a beast.
spell slots, schmell slots, shell ships, you know.
What is it?
Yeah.
You can max out, is it 4 or 5d8?
If I channel, it's 4d8.
Maxed.
No, so regularly, if you throw it, it's 4d8.
It's 4d8.
Yeah,
but if
so
I
it's
channel
one-
it, because
it's-
it gives lightning damage.
Oh, yeah, but it's only technically, it's 2d8 of lightning you could max on that 4d8.
Oh, the other two are...
The other two are mixed. So the one is bludgeoning,
Force.
One
Okay, so
from
never
from your cleric ability, right? The divine strike, which can be lightning or thunder, actually.
Anyway, pretty good.
It's pretty powerful
pretty good
either
hammer,
way.
good.
Yeah.
It's
good hammer.
it's definitely a legendary weapon item. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, who made her so powerful?
I don't know. Oh,
Well,
are you
Shaft
guys...
respects your power.
Oh, dude, and I'm... Yeah.
You should. Is what she's getting at.
So we teleport. Are we to that point? Or?
Yeah, so we roll a
Boom.
D100, we get a 35, and the session ends with us maybe not getting exactly where we need to be, but pretty close to on target. And that's
Surviving.
where everything ends. Yep. Then we have a nice little post-credit, which I think we were all sort of
Ooh, yes.
surprised to hear.
Yeah.
Always love the post-credit stuff that Leland does.
It's been a while since we've had one, yeah.
Yeah, so we talk. What happens, I guess, is you get the little backstory of Dreg running into Alamar. So you want to tell us a little bit about?
Well,
what you
I
wanted
mean,
to
we
do
kind of get... Dreg briefly told you what happened at the port, right? Now, for the listener,
Mhm.
and of course for you, you all get a bit more detail of his arrival. And it was actually kind of nice because I had a lot of that written out. That was, again, this was supposed to be Matthew Jude's character. So all of that was originally sent to him to, this is what happened to you and this is where you are in the story.
Oh.
So actually it was a no-brainer to use it because I was sad it didn't get to have an effect on somebody, but now it can affect everybody. So,
Oh, Vanity.
but yeah, he ran into Alamar, and with that, I wanted to put something in that mattered. I didn't want to just put this in to put it in. We needed to pad out that episode because of because it was a short episode, and the next 3 will definitely be 3 longer episodes. FYI, listener. So hopefully you're not feeling shorted, but I wanted it to matter, right? The post credits got to matter. They had to mean something, and I wanted them to portray, to give some additional information. I don't know how much extra info it gave, but I hope it still felt important to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the two
It
things
did.
that I got from it was Alamar said he had an urgent matter and he would return.
He
Mhm.
had a place where he was going. It wasn't like he was searching. He was going
Mhm.
somewhere.
Right.
And we finally get all the episodes we've been hyping for
And we haven't
5,000 after parties.
Talked to Chum in a long time.
I know.
Yeah, poor Chum. If Chum's,
Do you think Chum is Chum?
I don't even want to say it.
No.
I don't think Leyland would Chum.
No. Grimby, at minimum, Grimby's on the island of Misfit NPC.
hanging out with Statdorf and
Sally.
Yeah, we might not get our warship back, but we'll get our captain.
It's Grimby's warship. We gave it to him.
That's true.
Yeah, Grimby doesn't really have to do anything for us. We just feel that he will out of a sense of obligation since we saved his life once, actually.
And
right?
Yeah,
Yep.
got his ship blown up and left him with something that drew somebody
the
tried to get a
Rising
lich
2.
to him, and
Rising 2 really wasn't our fault.
Yeah, something's going on with the Rising 2.
Yeah.
There
Something's a
was
little weird about
some dynamite below the deck.
it. Well, I mean,
something.
there was no dynamite below that. But
something.
what did you think could have been below that deck?
A kraken.
You have, as a party, the information to glean what could have been in the hold of that ship.
it sounds complicated.
I hate when you do that. You're like, it's so obvious. It's right there. And we're all like, I have no idea what you're
it's
talking
not.
about.
Episode
not say-
16.
I did not say it was obvious. I definitely did not say it was obvious. But
Oh my
there's
gosh.
definitely the steps there you could take that wouldn't seem like a crazy illogical leap to try to guess what was in that hold. And yeah, I do that to you all a lot. Like recently with the dream, Shakar's dream.
I listened to that 3 times. I still have no
so
clue
there
what you're
is
talking about.
there's a small little detail in there that will not give you any answers. It will only, of course, raise more questions. But
Oh,
it would take
dear.
a very, 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 very astute listener to pick up on it. Because I had to go back and listen to a bunch of stuff to figure out what I was doing and making sure I was doing it right from what I set up forever ago. So
10 episodes from now, we're going to hear something else and be like, that's what he was talking about.
No, we won't.
Yeah, probably
No.
not.
He'll tell us. He'll go, all right, I'm just going to
Yeah.
tell you what the hell it was. Go back and listen to 35. When the little hands came out of the little hole that you didn't go into, there was a page in there that said everything.
Right.
yeah, it had all my DM notes were in that cave. I don't know why. For the whole damn campaign.
It was all in that note from Hank Applebee's that Gozer took that no one ever
We
knows.
never saw that note. Yeah, that's true.
No.
It
That-
literally says
yeah.
Erica is calling a kraken. Like, it says it all. It's all laid out.
Unbelievable. How did we miss that?
Oh gosh.
Oh man.
Okay, so we had a few more questions.
Yeah.
In chat, Jess is asking again, talking more about XP and like how leveling up works and how Leland's handing out points, which we've kind of talked about a few times, but whatever. We'll talk about it again, Jess. It's fine.
Yeah, I use a strange blended system that allows me to freely reward you with experience or not reward you experience as I see fit.
As he see fit.
Yes, exactly. Very, very obtusely and seemingly randomly most of the time, while you still gain experience from creatures that you kill. I
Yeah.
do enjoy milestone. I do enjoy rewarding you when you hit specific milestones. And in the last 12 to 20-ish episodes, maybe, I don't know. We've been in Heracleon a long ass time. You have hit a ton of milestones, and actually, I think we've leveled up as quickly as we have this entire campaign in the last couple months of releases here. Seems like
Yeah.
you four are rocketing through levels right now, and maybe I need to pull back.
No, you're good.
No.
You're good. It's perfect.
We're doing all
I
right.
think before 93, like between 92 and 3, somewhere around there is where we leveled up because we turned the tides of the war. We,
Yeah. Definitely.
garnered
That
the
was huge.
people's defense and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did have a question sent to us on Instagram too. Does anyone have that in front of them?
The Bill Ben one on Twitter.
Yeah.
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 So Bill Ben said he listened to a great interview last week about safety kits and the X card being used in gaming, primarily in TTRPGs. And he was wondering if we'd ever used something like that or ever used it in past during play.
No.
We do not during current
Not
play,
really.
but we did have a discussion.
Yeah, I think we have just a a policy where, we're open enough with each other, and that's probably not a good answer. We should probably use an X card, because there could be instances where someone feels uncomfortable, and just holding up a card is very, very low barrier to expressing your discomfort. But I think all of us are comfortable enough that we can just say.
I think we would say, yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
since we're recording it, we would say something and we would cut out whatever
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Totally redo it.
we have a great safety net, unlike streaming live,
Yes.
where we can pretty much go wherever we
Right.
want, and then we put a halt. There's only been a few occasions, I think, where we've probably said,
We often say, okay,
Maybe
cut
we
that
shouldn't
out.
do
It's
that.
been
And then he leaves
yeah,
it.
More the
it's-
after parties, I think.
I mean, most of the time we let Leland make that decision, which is probably the biggest wild card of all.
That is true.
Yeah.
I mean, I should really just be one big X card.
He
But
holds
so
all the cards.
I mean, I agree with you, Bill. Like, that's kind of a shitty answer. That is a shit answer for us to give. I think
His name
we
is
should
really
have had.
Ben. But
We
yeah.
should have. No,
talking
I
to me.
mean, not Ben,
Oh.
not Bill Ben, like Bill.
Oh,
William.
okay,
William. I'm sorry,
It's getting
William.
confusing.
William.
Sorry.
I agree with William. We should have had that conversation when we first started playing. But also when we first started playing, we had done a bunch of video chatting and recording together that wasn't part of the Incorrigible Party. That wasn't Incorrigible Party stuff. So obviously
Yeah.
we did have that friendship to go forward with already. So it is a slightly different than if you were sitting down at a table, say at a convention with a
Right.
bunch of random people to try
sure.
to test or to play this RPG. That is incredibly important, right? Because the point of that card is to avoid making anybody feel uncomfortable or alienating somebody at the table that you're sitting with. So we alienate each other all the time
Oh, yeah.
as friends.
Yes.
Easy.
And then there's, of course, still the flip side with us figuring out what we want to keep in our recorded podcast and what we think might be
For
appropriate
listeners.
for
Yeah,
li- so
exactly.
that's that's us playing that card for the listener, trying to avoid alienating our listeners
Right.
and making them feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And obviously the campaign that I run is a fairly dark campaign, and you four are able to inject levity into it, much needed levity in a lot of cases,
Yeah.
I think. There's a lot of fucked up shit in Aspara, right? Like a lot of it's
it's a messed
a
up
bad
place.
place. It's a bad place.
I mean,
obviously,
Shakara
right?
just, did what
Shakara's
she did.
executing. Yeah.
I don't even want to say the word because Shakara, come on.
We like to toe we like to toe the line. So we say some things, they might get taken out.
That
they
was
might
probably
be left
one of
in,
the.
but
For me personally, as a player, I was like, I know I've already said this, but I was like, wow, Shakara just got dark. But
was it kind of like
needed to
that
be
when I
done.
smashed Geneva? Was it kind of like that when I did the extra hit to Geneva? 'Cause
Well,
I kind of
yeah,
felt like
that's
that.
true. I shouldn't
Listening
forget
I
about
thought
that.
the
that
same
was-
thing. I thought that when you did that. I'm like, whoa, Mia, holy.
It was listening
Just
back. I
ruthless.
was like, that was a little drastic. Yeah.
Mia was pissed. Yeah.
She was.
I do feel like she has a temper. But
So I
there's
love
that me.
body horror. Like when I watch horror movies, I'm like, horror movies are like my favorite films. Like I love horror movies, and I love body horror movies. And
Can
very
you explain
clear,
what that
What do you mean
means?
by body hoarder?
Let's
like metamorphosis, when you're getting transformed into
The
this
Fly?
disgust. Yeah, exactly. The Fly is Cronenberg's The Fly
Uh,
is a great example of a body horror
Danzig
film.
Okay, cool.
That kind of stuff, right? So it's very evident through, but like a lot of people don't like that, and that's bad for, like, that's upsetting for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so it's difficult, right? Like obviously you can never make something like that. Like a lot of RPGs are violent games, and that violence is inherent in those systems. Dungeons and Dragons being the perfect, the epitome of a violent system, right? Half of the rules are combat, if not more. So that's where all of the mechanics come from.
I mean, we're about to be playing some Paranoia, which is obviously like dying, being cloned, coming back. Like I think that we have a good read on it with each other, and you got to make it humorous so that it's not triggering
And if that kind of stuff bothers you, that I suggest don't listening to that kind of stuff either.
Yeah.
That's the way that game
That's
is.
exactly right. Our show is obviously not for everybody, right? So, and it can't, I don't know. I wouldn't want to make a show that we could say was for everybody, which you can't anyways. But like, I like the show that we're making. I'm proud of the show that we're making. But yeah, those are things that absolutely we should keep in mind and really discuss. I mean, it wasn't, but it was like 2 months ago that we actually kind of discussed some things that we might want to keep.
Yeah.
We actually like having guests on. I think maybe should even discuss it or have like
Leland does.
a signal. Yeah,
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that.
That
I
is
think we do, yeah.
that is part of the correspondence that I have with those guests. Absolutely. I never, like, when we have a guest, I never say, this is what you're being. I always like to interact with them and get their input on it and
Right.
collaboratively figure out a fun NPC and a fun role that they can play and they will enjoy playing. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a very good point and important to bring up for sure.
And I think it's fair to say that Leland knows, and we all know what we are and are not comfortable with. We've had on many different occasions talks about things that
Yeah, I know you as players. I by now I know your boundaries as players. Absolutely.
Like Leland likes to flirt with the boys on our podcast more than the girls, and that's
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I like
Are you
it.
feeling left out?
sense some jealousy.
You leave Leland alone.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm his favorite.
You know what, Elena? Drek felt pretty good in those strong arms of yours when you caught him on that ladder. Just putting that out there.
There was a
after
moment. There
credits.
was some eyes.
And let's record an after credits.
If we get out of this alive, Mia, I think you and we should have a drink together.
You're going to the Misfit Island?
I was very interested to hear about all of his when we were talking about the book. I was like, I would love to hear about that sometime. He was like, well, maybe when we have dinner.
all of his
afterward.
tests, absolutely. Yeah, his experiments. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He did say he was going to take.
Yeah,
well, he
he's
said
gonna-
us to
he's
dinner.
gonna take
he
us
said
to
all
dinner.
of us.
And if
didn't
he
say
serves us
specifically you.
shepherd pie, so help me. Oh, good couple episodes.
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah, these were good episodes. The next batch of 3 is going to be great. Like, yeah. Matthew
Ugh,
Jude was
so good.
was a great guest. Those
Yeah,
are
he
going to
was.
be
Yeah.
those are going to be some really fun episodes. Yeah.
His character is amazing. So if you're watching or listening to this and you haven't caught up, who cares? Just listen to... Just jump ahead. It's worth it. Because if we start streaming these after parties, you gotta be here. Spoilers.
Well, the next after party, he did agree that he will hopefully be joining us for it. So, again, barring any conflicts or anything like that,
All right.
you're going to have 4 straight episodes of Matthew and Jude.
4
Dude,
episodes,
I'm
eh?
so excited.
Woo!
Yay, Matthew.
It's gonna be a very long after party.
What's also interesting is we only have those episodes recorded in the bank, so to speak. So once those
Yeah.
are released,
Yep.
we're just as caught up as you are, listener.
That's true.
So remind us what we have that we need to use, and
Exactly right. You wouldn't miss anything. So after those episodes, we're going to have a one-shot we recorded with Pep and Donald. That's going to release after those episodes. So after Jude's appearance, there will be a bit of a break in the main story to get in some one-shots. Depending on when we can record, maybe even Emily's one-shot after, but nothing's set in stone. So
Game Freak girl, you don't have to be caught up. We got a one shot coming up soon. All right.
there you go.
She said she's on episode 3. It's quite far behind. Keep with it.
Well, just go listen to the recap episode, and then you only have, 30 episodes to catch up on.
Yeah, we got a recap episode
Yeah, Monique,
for The Willing.
If you want to, you can jump in right into what are we calling it? Chapter 2 or season 2?
Chapter.
Chapter 2.
I don't know much about the Danish, but they are hardcore. They listen to the episodes
They
in their
don't sleep.
entirety. They don't sleep.
Yeah.
And they're on our bandwagon. Hardcore. We appreciate it. Ugh, I hope you guys liked us streaming. This has been weird but fun. There's been no doggies in the background. I don't know, they're sleeping.
All right.
lucky.
Anything else we want to talk about, or are we going to wrap this up?
I don't have anything else on my docket.
No, I think it was all for questions.
Yep.
Check out Bill playing. What are you playing?
Star Citizen.
yeah.
Star
Citizen?
Citizen.
Yes, if you want to, you can pop over to my Twitch channel and watch me play Star Citizen.
Watching
Gladio
blow up some
22.
ships
It's fun.
and
I'm-
deliver
I'm
packages.
Awfully bad, so I really wouldn't
a-
recommend it.
Best 3 hours I've ever spent in my life.
Is the plural
Dropping boxes.
is the plural of kraken or krakens?
Ah,
Like
Crack
like
eye.
fish?
It's crack eye.
Crack
actually.
eye?
Crack
Okay.
eye is exactly.
Yes, that makes sense.
It's crack eye. Or cracktopuses is
I
also.
was just gonna say krakenpuses.
Whether
Not sure how I feel
whether
about
you
that.
guys are watching this, whether you're watching this on Twitch right now or listening to this after the fact or watching it on Twitch after the fact as well, a year from now, because you're a new fan. Thank you, welcome. Tell us what you think about streaming. We wanna know what's up. Is this
They're going to tell us a year from now?
Yeah.
Well, hell, I hope we make a decision before then.
There are people that are.
I like it.
There are people that will see this. I'm talking to the future, okay? And thank you, future
always-
fans.
I'm not sure that Twitch saves your videos for that long, but that's okay.
We're putting it on YouTube. Derp.
Oh, yeah.
Come on. Get with it. More streams, she says. Monique wants more
All right.
streams. All right, let's go. Let's do this.
It's
Yeah,
been
we can do
asked
it.
for,
All
and
right.
it will happen.
I mean, we discussed about streaming more than just after parties and stuff too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Very unfortunately, unless it's a one shot, we will never be able to stream one of our main campaign plays.
No.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen. A number of things. I mean, obviously, we usually are playing well advanced of the releases. So even if you tuned in for the 3 or 4 hours we're playing, you would have no idea what's going on. You miss a bunch of shit. And also part of our, Patreon rewards are early access to session releases. So that's never
We
going
are
to
a
happen.
highly edited podcast. We like your background music.
Well, that's
Elon.
true.
It's,
That's true.
your
Yeah.
alarm sound effects that are super startling.
Apparently
You think
very
there's an
annoying,
Amber
yes.
alert on your phone. So now's the funnest part of the show, the sign off.
Oh
The
boy,
most funnest.
The most funnest.
heavily edited
And
usually.
who starts again?
Well,
What's
okay,
the
thank
order?
you.
This is the part
Yeah,
we
what is
edited.
there? You know what? Why don't we do some end of show stuff here? Okay, let me give some of the butt plugs
Okay,
here, and
okay.
we'll plug away.
Ooh, here we go.
Butt plugs. Butt plugs. Here we go.
Big summer blowouts.
Thank you very much for tuning in live with us, or like Elena said, watching after the fact.
Or
The
the
VOD
future.
will be up on YouTube, so you'll be able to watch us as well, not just the podcast episode. So watch, listen. Don't do either. Whatever suits your fancy. If you want
Yeah,
more,
we don't care.
Yeah, we don't give a shit. If you want more information,
I care.
if you want more info about Aspara, some NPCs, look at some beautiful, beautiful city maps that John puts together for us. Our website is incorrigibleparty.com and has all of our links to our socials and what not.
Yes,
Is
yes.
that it?
I think it's it. I've been John and Shaft.
I've been Emily and Shakara.
I've been Elena and Mia.
I've been Bill and Falzarin.
And I'm Leland Steele. Happy adventure. Okay, ready
Everybody
to
recording?
sync up?
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Ow.
You want to ask a question, Leland?
Let's put our
I
screen up.
suppose I could. Well, thank you for asking me the question. Bill,
Not a problem.
Bill, are you nervous about all your settings?
I didn't realize that palms could sweat so much.
Elena, you look very beautiful tonight. I'm kind of almost offended that you don't dress up like this normally when we're not streaming for us.
Thank you. That was
And
not
Emily-
a question.
That wasn't a question. Emily is effervescent as always. Are you also nervous?
Extremely, yes, uh-huh.
Great.
Yep.
This is gonna be great.
Yes, yes.
This is gonna be something.
It's gonna be something.
And Leland, dashing as usual. How do you feel? Well, Leland, thank you for asking. I'm quite well. Doing pretty good. I hope this helps you sync the audio.